Test, 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 test. Why do I not hear anything? Test, test, test. I can't hear myself. Oh, I can. I'm sorry. I could hear myself. That's good. Okay. That means you should be here. All my English. That means you should be able to hear me too. Hey Sam. Hi. Hi Zinger. Hi Oskay. Electrical. Hi. What's up? How is everyone doing? Let me just click on this button. Yes. I do like my little office view here. This is, of course, not my real office view here. My real office view is just like basically nothing. There's buildings outside. Fantastic. Hey, Alexander. Hey, engineer. Hey, Khalid. Hi. Hey, Ramdane. How's everyone doing this night before Christmas? Oh, you take your notebook and you take notes? Please don't. I mean, please do, of course. Yes. This like in the last weeks, this feels more and more like a class that I'm doing every week, like 2 hours with you as my students. This is just fun. This is great. It gives me a little bit of routine. That is also why I also wanted to like do another one today. I didn't want to break the chain. I will, disclaimer, however, next week, right? I'm pretty much going to take the whole week off, so I'm going to take the next week off. I won't do basically anything next week. Maybe I'm gonna stream on Twitch for a little bit of fun gaming, but I won't do anything that is nearly nearly as complex as thinking is. Let's see. Let me get in there. But that's the disclaimer for later on. Hi, Yassine. Hi, Dane. Hey. Did I say hello? I probably said hello to most of you. Hey, Chirag. Hi. Welcome. Welcome back. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I mean, if you mean back on YouTube, it has been, what now, 2 months? Heading towards the third. When was my first stream? When was I back? The welcome back is not valid anymore. Let me check. When was my first stream after like my 2 years suspension here? After my 3 years, my own. I wasn't suspended by YouTube, but my own suspension here. 28th. So it's been 2 months almost. Oh no, next week would be the 8th stream. It would be 2 full months. So maybe I'll have to stream very, very fast. How am I doing? I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How are you? I was quite. I was losing a lot of energy like the last couple of weeks because I was doing courses. I was doing TIA 8 hours a day, and then I was also streaming like in the evening a little bit. I know this is just like a 2-hour thing, but I was having no energy. But I'm back. Not full energy, but almost back. And then I was also a little bit sick, right? I forgot about that. That was really annoying for me and for everyone involved. But I'm back at not 100% energy, but enough to celebrate Christmas tomorrow and the next days. You were following my videos when you were a student. That could have been like in the last. When was my first video? Wait. When was my first? Now that I'm looking up things, when was my first YouTube video? That must have been quite long. Can I do even a filter? Can I say like oldest video? Sort by. Oh, I cannot do that on my own. Oh, no, I can date. 2021. No, 2021 is when I went on my break, quotation marks. My first video on this channel was in 2018. That is 7 years ago. 7 years and 3 months ago. I was streaming video games. I did not have any plan on TIA. I was just having fun. 7 years ago. I was a kid 7 years ago. God, no, I was. Damn it. I was already in my 30s. Wait, was I 30 when this? Yeah, it was. It was almost my 30th birthday. Crazy. Kirash asks, or Kurasa asks, if I'm going on with AI PLC programming. No, this was just for me. Like I think 2 weeks ago. Was it last week or the week before? That I went in AI. I would use it as a tool every now and then, probably, but more as a tool rather than like focusing on it. And that's how I think it should be done. I hear about people that use AI for everything. That's also that if it works, but it doesn't work. Simply saying I've never seen that it works perfectly, like 100% AI. And also still our society isn't there yet, right? So a lot of people are against, like there is this huge difference between people pro AI and then against AI. Like there's really like people being aggressive about it. And there has been, I don't know if you've seen it, probably not, but there has been like in the area that I am in, not in automation, but in gaming, right? There has been huge news. There is like the game of the year, indie game of the year is Clair Obscur, which is my favorite game, or Expedition 33, my favorite game of the year. I haven't streamed it or anything. I might at some point. It's a really, really great game, but it got all the acknowledgement, best game and everything, which is 100% deserved, I would say, from what I've played. But in those awards, now a couple of weeks after they received the awards, they got taken away the titles and the trophies and everything, like some of it, because they used for one picture, for one asset in the game. In the end, they let it in accidentally. They didn't want to, but they let in one AI generated picture, one asset, one thing, and that stripped them of a lot of titles. Right? So our society is still like cut in. Like, oh, you can use AI, or oh no, you can't use AI. It is a tool; it's going to be there, but it's not there yet. I will use it every now and then, probably, but as a tool, as it's supposed to be. And let's see. OSK asks, do I have plans to make a course for students? I do have my Udemy course, if that's what you mean. Let me share that. Hey, let me pin my Udemy course. Is that what you want to refer to? Probably not, right? So I've pinned that. Oh, you can get my Udemy course. But I do plan. I have plans to make more videos, not so much streams in the future. Right? So next year, the disclaimer, my plan for next year is to get back into some video making, where we have the wonderful list here. Right? I can't get into all of those, especially the communication part here is quite heavy. Like we have already in the last weeks talked about a ton of topics. Whoops, this way. Right? Talked about a ton of topics, but if I stream like once a week, I can't cover everything. And I want to cover plenty of things. Right? So I want to make a couple of videos on the channel, like those 15-minute snippets, that the things why you are here mostly. I want to be back at that. Hopefully I can manage to, depending on, this is all on me, of course. Yeah, but I want to get back there a little bit. The course on Coursera, I haven't worked with that. I do have my Udemy thing. That's enough for me. Oh, look at that, Cortex. Cortex with a question. Hello, I start my PID with the output value immediately jumps very fast to 27,648, and it only starts decreasing gradually after the input value becomes higher than the expected set point. What should you change? It seems like you have, it is hard to say, tune your controller, I would say. It sounds that you're still waiting on TI RAM, then still waiting on TI, as I said, it's there somewhere, definitely. Oh, it's up there. So still the question there, and that's basically what we're doing today, right? Is me answering questions, me doing a little bit of chill programming here. There it is already in the background. So I do have a system that I like to program today and just hang out a little bit, right? Yeah. But the question there, if your PID controller, I am not a closed loop control like master, but this definitely sounds. So question is, when you start up your controller, your output, so you have your controller, right? Whatever controller that is, you have your PID controller, and your output directly jumps to the max here, right? So your out is directly at a maximum value, right? If it starts at the maximum value, I mean, there could be many reasons, but the main reason here that I could imagine, so you have the behavior, right? You have two ints, right? you have your set point and you have your feedback value that I will call FB or in. Let's actually say in there. I will be back with chat in a second. I will try to answer questions today, right? A little bit. So now, depending on what you have set your controller to, my assumption is you have set it to a full PID, but the important part here would already be the P. Right, for the beginning, because if you start up, the only really relevant thing is the P. Of course, the D as well. Try to turn off the D factor, which could break everything as well. But if you say slowly, slowly also means P and I mostly. So let's see. If that is the case, right, and your output is at the max from the beginning on, and then as soon as your input is higher than your set point, it starts dropping. Kind of the opposite behavior, right? It's kind of the opposite behavior. So what your controller, of course, should be starting with is as soon as you start it, right? It should go up. It should react quite fast, hopefully, right? And then as soon as you hit, of course, your set point, it should start like getting there. Now, of course, if you have the problem and your controller does the opposite, which is now green, and your controller, that should also kind of be your controller output, right? Now, the problem is if your controller output starts very high at 100%, right? And then as soon as you're getting closer, it drops. I mean, no, this actually sounds okay, right? As soon as you get closer, it kind of drops. Right, depending on, but could have many reasons. I mean, it doesn't have to be bad, right? Could be many things, but I would say your P factor might be very, very big, right? If it starts this is okay, by the way. It might be that the P is too big, right? So it might be. But starting at the high value, of course, if you have a high difference, of course, you will start at a high value. So I would say that might be the thing there. Let's see, Mokalit asks, any more videos coming about alarms? Today I have on my list, not really alarms, but HMI alarms a little bit that I wanted to integrate. Like I want to have like this pop-up screen on the HMI screaming at me, hey, there is something that is an error that's going on. Oh, by the way, those would be my topics for today. I want to be programming, but those things I still want to talk about on the side because they are very general topics and I can toss them in. Where HMI alarms is maybe optional. But I want to get in there. Let's see. Still waiting for a PCS7 course. Hey, PCS7 is freaking expensive, isn't it? Wait. PCS7 license. Holy shit. The official one, 18,000. Yeah, I can believe that. Is that correct? 800? That might be something strange. But yeah, I can imagine that's quite expensive. But I can guide you. Today I will also give you some resources. Let's see. So August asks, what do I think about the Siemens new concept of unified panels? I learned many new things because it is very different from the old ones. I like the concept. So if you don't know, everyone that doesn't know the concept of unified panels, so far, like until like the old technology was that you have your panels, and on the panels you have a runtime. This runtime is basically a software that displays an HMI screen and communicates with the PLC. Right? It's literally, on your HMIs, you have Windows running, and a software that's called WinCC Runtime runs on those. Right? And that displays your screens. Now, this has changed the last couple of years, where now we talk about WinCC Unified, where WinCC Unified is a web server-based service that is, I wouldn't say a standalone software anymore. It displays everything as a website, which means that every device kind of that has the capability of running a web browser can display your HMIs, which that's also why Unified, like everything can be used there. It is much easier to run on multiple different devices on different like screen sizes or different hardwares. So therefore, I think it's way better for the future. It's not as restricted. So yeah, I do like the principle. When I started with Unified 7 years ago, I think, ish, or like a longer time ago, I've been using Unified back then. It was very buggy and it didn't work at all. Nowadays, it has started becoming very good. It's not perfect yet, though. So I would still say go with the older panels, go with comfort panels. Unified will be the future, though, and it is taking over, and it is getting better and better. Yeah. Ramdan wants to use Pro Diag. Oh, whoa, whoa. Maybe I'll toss in small thing today, but can't promise anything. Let's see. Chat asked there. If I have PCS7 virtual machine, I do have different virtual machines, but I have many different virtual machines for many different purposes. I am not allowed to use other virtual machines in my YouTube concept, right? Or YouTube context. I cannot. I have also many good resources for very specific questions that I'm not allowed to show on stream. Maybe, I hope this doesn't go against any terms of use, any agreement notes. I can show you one thing that is fantastic. Maybe it serves as an ad, and maybe I should be paid for it. Just 1 second. I want to show you. I want to show you one thing, which also goes in the direction. Hey, I cannot show you everything. For mostly licensing reasons, I have to be very careful, especially with YouTube, especially with publishing anything. Yeah, where I will show you one thing that will answer many of your questions, actually. But let's see. E-Engineer asked, do you have any tricks for the infinite boot error affecting comfort panels? No. Unfortunately, that sounds like hardware issues. Unfortunately, I don't. Haven't had that, though. Let's see. D asks, please make a dedicated video on how to connect a third-party device with Modbus. Yes, that I definitely have on my list. Yeah, that is 100% a video I want to make and I will make. And a dedicated video, not a live stream in the future. Yes, 100%. Using Modbus, Profibus, Profinet to communicate to a decentralized device. Will definitely make that. So, okay, the thing that I want to show you, that where you can find an answer to all of your questions, I'm not being paid for this. So this is literally just a resource that I can recommend. I cannot show you too much out of it. I hope it won't get me into any troubles, but still, I can't show you too much. Right? Let's say this is kind of more of an ad. There is for any Siemens topic, right? Actually, it kind of fits the topic of today. There is something called C-Train Access. This C-Train Access, if I need to learn something about Siemens technology, I can go in there. I do have an account. It is a subscription-based model. The way that I have my YouTube videos, right, is very open, but also very unprofessional. Right? It's just YouTube stuff. It's me streaming. It's me talking. Maybe sometimes I make errors. Not everything has been checked. Not everything is on the newest version and so on. This stuff is. Right? This stuff here is. There is a ton of content in this C-Train Access. It is like the learning platform base from Siemens directly. Right? And we could look any topic. And as I said, I cannot show anything really in there. I can give you like a quick intro, but that's it. For example, there was the question, hey, can you make a PCS7 video, right? Yassine, how much does this cost? Depends on your region, depends on your region, right? And depends on your contact with Siemens. Yeah. Hey, Ice9, hi. You didn't miss much. No, I basically not small talk, but slowly phasing into the TIA part. Right. So we had the question, hey, will you make something about PCS? Wait, no, we had the topic openness. Right. There was the topic of openness, so I can also search for openness. Right. And in there, though, there are the official like Siemens learning resources. And look at this. openness, automated project generation, 1 hour, 20 minutes. So this is better. Start with TIA portal openness. It is very, depends on your region. You also get a bang for your buck. Like it is cost efficient, I would say. It highly depends. As I said, I can't really say much about the pricing. I do get it supplied by Siemens, but I can recommend it. There is also, I think, a test version or so where you can check it out for some time. So, for example, if I would need to learn anything about TIA openness, right? You see, those are classes without a trainer. I can enroll in those classes, and this will talk about all those topics, right? This will talk about all those topics, just that you don't see my login. I'm pushing that on the second screen here. There we go. And that's also telling you why I cannot show you my, why I cannot show you any internal stuff there. I can launch the course probably, but I definitely cannot show anything from within. Like I could skip through one of those things as an example very quick. So Ignatius says he also has C-Train access and it is very professional. It is extremely professional. Oh, look at this. TIA portal, TIA openness, the API, application programming interface, off program, It gives you a lot of like verbal text. It gives you a lot of videos that I could skip through. How does it work in TIA? So what I could do is so I cannot show you stuff in there, right? I can maybe show a screenshot or so. What I can, and it gives with demo applications and tools and so on, demo projects. This is the official way, not the Hegamol YouTube way that you're doing right now, which is good as well. But this is the official way, right? So for me, that would also be a way of learning. I can highly recommend it. Maybe you can look into it, right? But that is like those topics, right? I could just type them in there, watch videos myself for an hour, and then I could give those contents to you, but that would just be my filtered version, right? So hashtag ad, I'm not being paid for this. This is just a good resource that I can personally just recommend. 1 second. Sorry, I'm back. Yeah. Stuff is happening in the kitchen. Tomorrow is Christmas, you know. So there was my assistance is needed, not needed, but would be highly welcome. Yeah, that's what right here. Really great topics, pretty awesome and official stuff. Which, as I say, I can't share too much, but that would be a resource that I would take. Let's see. Absolute Alien asks, can I guide us to media redundancy protocol, the MRP? Well, look at this, MRP. Right. There's definitely some stuff in here as well about MRP. Why just with R and H PLCs? But still, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to make this a sales show about this, but that would be a resource that I would be using. There's another one that I will show in a second that I'm allowed to show, but yeah. Oh, Yassine even says you was using it for free to learn about soft PLCs. There is like, this is the official, you would have to get in official contact with Siemens, right? So they have also advertisement accounts and so on there. Yeah. Remner says I should do something advanced on Udemy. Advanced topics. I mean, I only have limited time, but yeah, I'm planning to. But time is always limited, and energy also. Yes, in here, Ignatius. Wow, very good. Ignatius also says this is, as I said, this is not an ad, but in here you can also. Right. In here you can also get VLab access. VLab is you can get online a virtual machine with TIA portal included, with some software included. And it's like, it's all pre-installed. You just have to, you get a link, you open it up in your web browser, and then you have access to everything that you would need to learn TIA portal. Yeah, but that's enough of the ad here. Pretty good stuff there. Let's see. Hey mods, Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you very much. How would I go about a function in TI that could change between activated of 2 different machines with a timer of X days between them, a changeover? I mean, you have a function and it has an input, and you put like everything that the machines are on those input sides, right? In the best case, a UDT. That's what I want to do in a minute here, but sounds like a more complex thing. Could change between the activation of 2 different machines with a timer of X. It sounds like a function that I would write, but can't really say. Like too few info to get into detail there. Sorry. Yeah. Let's see. Chirac asked, best way to generate MIS reports. What are MIS reports or MIS reports? Oh, you don't know much about Node-RED, SQL, SRC? Neither do I. I have done a little bit with SQL Lite, but I haven't really worked with SQL too much. Yeah. Another resource that I can recommend that is free would be, and that I can show much more of. The other thing would be, whoa, I do not remember things. I will give you a link in a second. Another link would be this SCE Siemens. That is free, that I can also show. This is not bound to any like licensing or so. SCE Siemens. Siemens cooperates with education. I've shown this earlier already, but they have many modules for learning. For example, PCS7, look at this. And there's hundreds of different, not hundreds, but there is a whole class, a whole learning path in there, self-learned, to teach you like the basics of those different modules here. Right? Why is that so slow? Right? This I've shown previously, but it is really good, really powerful, and free. Right? It's lecture slides. Like it's like a whole class. Like if you would go to university and your professor gives you like resources, that's it. Right? Really good resources. This is where I personally learned a lot. Right? And I will just supply you the link. There you go. All of this is free. You have to have a Siemens account, but it's still free. Fantastic. And I would be allowed to show, but Siemens example with SIMIT models. Oh, it has been updated quite a bit. That's nice. Even though the website doesn't load properly, but still. Yeah, those are things that I can also recommend. Yeah, for those very specific topics that you have sometimes. Which all of those topics definitely can be found inside of CTRAN Access. Some of them can be found with SCE, so with the second link that I shared. All of those can definitely be found in the first link in CTRAN Access. But the first link you have to pay, the second one is free. Hey Mahan, how are you doing? Let's see. Okay, shall we let's get a little bit just into chill programming, right? And that's what I want to do here last day before Christmas, the last day before at least half of Germany is not working like for the next week. A lot of people are, and I usually do not take my vacation in the Christmas time as well, because it is so quiet. It is nice, it is quiet, it's so the second link does not come with videos. Isaac, very good question. The second link is documents. It's like if you subscribe in a university program or so, you usually get supplied with like a curriculum, with a plan, with text documents and tasks, and that's what the second link is. It's more of a self-learning class. No videos. It's really self-learning. Yeah. So for the next week, not many people will be working. Neither will I. So usually I wouldn't take too much. Right, I wouldn't take too much off, and I will put Modbus down here, because that we had. I wouldn't take too much of a time off usually, but as I'm self-employed, I can do whatever I want. So next week I'm not going to do anything. No, I will do taxes. I will do some stuff next week actually, but nothing like teaching. Okay, shall we do some basic programming here? Let's go in there. Right, I have this machine. Let's actually program a little bit of TIA today. Right, it's just how would I approach a project? Maybe we can finish this thing today. What would I do? And I will sit down for this, which I rarely do for TIA Tuesday. Tuesdays I rarely sit down. But if I'm just gonna do a little bit of programming, I'm going to sit down. Love from Bangladesh. Love back from Germany. Thanks for joining in. Hey Gordon, hi. How are you doing? So, just some chill programming. If you have questions, toss them in the chat. Right? What I want to do is I want to have just this machine here, right? This machine, very simple. I don't even know what it does. I gotta admit. I literally don't know. I just open. I think I've worked with this previously, but what does it do? Oh, I see. So what it does is it has those tops, right? The top goes here, the bottom goes there, and the top needs to be put on the bottom. Bloop. And then it needs to be transported all the way over here. Now, one question that I have: why can this lift here? The top doesn't even, the clamp can be lifted, can it? I think it can be lifted. This is an unnecessary actuator here. But okay, I'll accept it. So, right. So what would I do when it comes to programming? Well, I would first analyze the whole thing and then I would just go for it. Of course, here for analyzing it, I would also, of course, have this PLC sim. I want to hook this up, and you see it has a couple of inputs, a couple of outputs. Maybe I can program the whole thing in a minute here. We've got an hour approximately, so I can definitely do this, hopefully. Big fan. I'm honored. I should watch my videos myself every now and then, because I don't know. I have no idea if they're still up, if they are still any good. So the first thing is I want to connect this, of course, to TI Portal. I've already hooked up my PLC here. Right. I've loaded a program with the hardware configuration, so I won't go into the hardware thing here. Hot redundancy. So Mahmoud wants the redundancy in 1500s. Oof. Don't know if you want to trust a YouTube video that deals with such important topics. Is there any topics about S7 PCT? What is PCT exactly? Sorry, hi Hakan. S7 PCT. S7 PCT? Oh, the port configuration tool. Whoa, that's something I haven't heard in a long time. The PCT, the port, okay. So if that's what you mean, right? The port configuration tool, God, I haven't used this in so long. So the port configuration tool is a standalone software that actually I even have on my desktop, right? Isn't it? Yeah, there it is. Right. It is for setting up your components so that they can communicate. I haven't used it in a long time, because TI Portal helps so much with setting up your networks. God, but I won't really start with this. It helps you with setting up your hardware. Right. For example, your IO links, yeah. So let's see, program is loaded. All that I need to do is I will need to run this sequence, and now hopefully it just connects, and then we can get started with the program here. Maybe it does. Uses Arch. Arch for what? What was the question? I do not use Arch. So, system connects. I do have my IO list, so the first thing that is important is exporting my IO list here. I want to import this, of course. Right? And what I will do, right? The TIA Goat returns. It's been 2 months already, but thank you very much. One thing that I will also supply at the end of the day, you see I've created a new folder that I called TIA Tuesday. In this folder, I am going to have it will automatically upload my stuff, and I will share the link so that you have. Oh, Arch Linux. I'm not using any Linux distro. I'm not using Linux. Yeah, so I will share the link of this folder, which I will have all of my TIS stuff organized in there, and then you will have access to it and can download it as well and such. Right. So everything that I create, I should have just done that, but I have never organized stuff. I will start really uploading all of the content. I will share the link later on. So there we go. And now I want to import this IO list into my... So first thing, if I have an IO list that I have from any other system, I can import this. Import, for example, and I want to import this list. TI Tuesday cursor. No, this was from last week. On my desktop, I have a new TI Tuesday. This one, stream this, and those tags. Yes, import them. So if we're lucky enough, we have IO lists given, but well, if you don't, you don't. But I do have, in my case. Ignatius was like programming the station a long time ago. Yep. My PC should not be lagging. My PC should be very, very much like, I don't care about this. Yeah, it is. It doesn't even care that it's running. Like it's running on power saving mode still, pretty much. There we go. So I now have my system inside of TI Portal. The first thing that I would usually test is just make a simple. Will I make a video about IO link? At some point, yeah, IO link definitely on my list. It's one of those communication methods that I definitely want to cover at some point. So first thing that I would usually do is I want to check like my IOs if they are working properly. So what I would usually do is I would set up a watch table. If I have a physical system, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. So I would set up my IO test. And I would just have some PLC tags in here. And I would randomly choose some right now. So this would be my machine. What's the station actually doing? It's assembling, right? Assembler. Right. So question there is if I use Semantic Manager. I have used Semantic Manager previously. That was the one that I learned on before TI Portal, yes. But I haven't used Semantic Manager in 15 years maybe. You don't need to, I read your messages already, no need to delete them. So let's see if I can control some stuff. So there are inputs, there are outputs. Move X, for example, if I can control U. Move Z, for example, if I can control U. Grab, let's conveyor, and some conveyor. Let's turn on some conveyors here. Right. So I just have my IO list. I don't need to download anything or so. This is just on my PC, right? That's really a great thing about watch tables. They just sit on the PC, and if they work, they work. Right? If everything works, no need to download. So I can turn on and off things. My favorite way is very simple. Just right mouse button, and then let's see if something happens. So I do have my lids conveyor. Let's turn that on. Modify to true. And let's see if the connection works. Yep, seems to be good. Basis conveyor. Yep, seems good. Right. So that works just fine. Okay, first thing done, IO test. It's pretty much, this was not now just an output test, but test succeeded. Then next thing that we would probably look at is how would we organize our system here? How would we structure our system? Right? And for this, right, for structuring my system, I will do something that I haven't done. I haven't really talked about, I think, but I will talk about now. JQ. So JQ asked is new on the channel, has just discovered me and wants to ask like what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Is this like a higher level question, high level question, like, what are you even doing? No, I understand it as like probably for a job. As I said, today is more of an AMA, right? I'm going to discuss, I'm going to talk to you, ask me anything. AMA, for those that don't know what AMA is, ask me anything. No, you can ask, of course. I am an instructor for all kinds of programming things, right? I'm a teacher, I would say. Yeah, that's it. Pretty much. I do have, of course, my little YouTube corner here and such, but most of the time I do trainings, I teach. Yeah. A lot of times, of course, TIA, but also other things. Let's see. D worked in Master Drive MC last week. I haven't worked with that, but it's good if it feels right. That is fantastic. So now, what we can do is we can structure our system. Right? And therefore, I will use some stuff that might be new here. So, for example, what we can structure, and I'm making this up, I'm making this up right now. I know what I'm doing, but still, I'm making kind of the structure up here. So, what I want to do is, we do have, for example, two conveyor belts, right? This conveyor belt, this conveyor belt. 1 and 2 conveyor belts. Now, what I will do with those is I'm going to have them in my own kind of a structure. Right now, what they are is they are completely separate, right? Not just the conveyors are separate, but each component is treated as a separate component here in the system. Right? So what I will be doing, though, is I will have one tag that is conveyor 1 and one tag that is conveyor 2, which makes it much easier to work with the whole thing. So Mark asks if I'm a trainer for Germany C-Train. I am self-employed. So strictly speaking, no. I am my own, no. But I do C-Train trainings, yes. Right. So if you ever go to a Siemens training, I might be your trainer. I've had this in the past, right? I've had this quite a bit in the past, that people went to a C-Train training and they met me and they were like, hey, I know you. And it's always very awkward for me. So please, if you ever meet me in a training, of course, say that, but be aware. It is like, oh, God. I've also had times where I was at the Seedling Training Center and people approached me like, can I take a picture? And I'm like, hey, of course, yes, why not? Sure, take a picture. It's not awkward at all. I'm having fun, but it's, yeah. But officially, I do C-Train trainings, yes. So I want to have like the structure of conveyors. Because we already have 2, I want to keep them together. Right? You would love to meet me. Yeah, as I said, you can go to Siemens C-Train trainings. Maybe I'll be there. Might be. Sometimes in person, sometimes in, what's the other thing called? Not person. Sometimes online. Yeah, who knows? I might meet all of you at some point. So now what I would do is I would like to keep things together, right? So I will have my conveyor out 1 and my conveyor out 2 kind of combined. I don't know what is the conveyor here, what is like, this is kind of unorganized. And it really is. So in the best case, let's actually make this a session that is quite useful. In the best case, this would be organized differently here, and I will do so. Will I? Yes. Let's actually do something that you would also see that would make much more sense. For this, I'm going to change my configuration here. I will have more. Why do I have 12 outputs? If nothing works in the end, it's not about anything working today. It's fine if it doesn't. So let's actually 3 output bytes. 3 output bytes. And I will slightly reorganize here. So what you would usually find, right, is gaps in your addresses. So why would I want gaps in my addresses? Well, I want to keep together what belongs together. So I want to have everything that goes together for my, for example, here for my base conveyor, right, together. The same I want to have for my other stuff, for the lids conveyor, for example. And I will need to reorganize things here a little bit. Oh my goodness, this starts to be strange then. Lids conveyor, clamp lid, and pos race lids. Right. So right now, output byte 1 is for my lids conveyor, output byte 2 is for my basis conveyor. Sure. I would also personally actually flip those. Can I do this? Yes. Right. Because for me, it logically makes sense to have the bases first and then the lids. That's what I would be doing. So I would have more of a structure here. The same thing I will do also on the input side here. But first, let me read the chat there. Nima says, or Nima Reza says that they have become an engineer successfully. Hey, congratulations. And I'm happy if I could help a little bit there. And everyone else also happy to help. Yeah, good job. Good job. Perfect. So I usually like to keep things together, right? Now we have gaps here, but that's fine. If I have the hardware, I can do it. There will also be one more advantage which I will show you in a second here. Can we write last in, first out, and first in, first out in ladder diagram? Sure, but your ladder diagram always goes top to bottom, right? So you will have to write your LIFO and FIFO logic in there, which isn't a problem if we use arrays or so. Should be pretty easy. But yes, of course we could. So now I'm going to have also more inputs, which changes all of my configuration here, but that's fine. So let's also have 24 in there. Such a fan. This is unreal. No, it's pretty real. It's pretty real. So let me push around things here a little bit more and have all of my inputs also for my conveyor gathered in one place. And I'm just going to resort everything, and then I will have to re-import all of my IOs because this is now a hot mess. God, this is a hot mess now. Lid in place, I would say, is lid clamped. Pos at limits. Yes, probably that. I don't know what goes together, right? Bases at place, that's probably here. Bases clamped, that's probably there. Pos at bases there. Base clamped. Oh God, I'm losing the overview already for such a simple system. So this is start, this maybe goes there, this is moving X, moving Z. This will be grab. So I'm just reorganizing my IOs, which should be done in the first place because it just makes sense to have a clean IO setup. That's what I'm doing. So part leaving. What is part leaving? What does part leaving even do? I don't know what part leaving is. Does anyone know what part leaving is back here? Oh, it detects if a part is leaving. Right, so that is okay. Is that for both? How far does that reach? Does anyone know? And yes, today is more of like a talking and such and such. No, look at this. The part leaving doesn't react here, it reacts there. Okay, so part leaving is for the basis conveyor. Hey, where is my IO list? So basis conveyor, part leaving. There we go. So organizing my IOs. It's important. What does lid referring to? Lid is like the thing that goes on top. You have bases here on the right side and you have lids on the left side, right? And the lid goes on the base. That's the lid now. So Anton asked if I'm planning to make training videos on drive simulation. Maybe a little bit, but not too much. I'm not a drives expert myself. So I know my competencies. Drives is not one of them. Okay, now almost have everything sorted here. I will still reorganize a little bit. I will probably have to put on my headphones at some point because my girlfriend is in the kitchen and she's yelling right now. And I'm like, oh God, I'm not going to help. I'm sorry, but no. But still I hear her cussing. Can I please explain about Failsafe PLCs? So D asks, can I explain about Failsafe PLCs? As I said, today more of an AMA session. Yes, very quick. Right. Where is my paint? Very quick, right? You have your standard PLCs, ST for standard, right? And inside of a standard PLC, you have your so-called PLC cycle. Right? Your cycle reads the inputs, it goes through your main program, through your user program, let's say PR for program, and then it does the outputs, it changes the outputs, and it goes on and on. Right? Now, for a normal standard program, you can program whatever kind of you want in there to make the machine work. Right? Now, if you have a fail-safe CPU, which is here on the right side, right? If you have a fail-safe CPU, or so-called F CPU, right? Now, an F CPU also has the same thing. It also has the cycle in then your program, PR, I want to write, right? And your outs. Is it? It also has that. So the baseline is the same. So you can use an F CPU as a standard CPU. But additionally, you have a second part inside your PLC, a dedicated part in your PLC that is a hardware part. This dedicated part also has the same thing: inputs, user program, and outputs, independent from your main program. So it has two things happening at the same time. Now the yellow part here, the fail-safe part, the fail-safe program is standardized. Right? You cannot make any errors in there. This program here, right, uses special hardware. It uses special software blocks. It is fail-safe. You cannot work against standards in there. Now, when you use something like this, if you have safe applications like emergency stop, you can integrate an emergency stop in your standard cycle, in your standard PLC. However, in Germany, for example, you could get into problems if something happens with the machine. Right? If something happens with people working at the machine, right? Your system was not certified to have safe operation. However, if you have fail-safe, it is certified to work in the fail-safe way. So it is much, much more safe to work with that. And that's the general idea of fail-safe. It's much more expensive, but it uses unfailable things. There we go. It is also like that is the general idea. Of course, this technology-wise, there is much more to it, but that's the general principle. Now, usually there are two different ways to do this failsafe. Either you have a standard CPU, right? Of course, standard is also, this also uses standards, right? So Kraken says like the standard also uses standards, yes, but you can still program wrong stuff in there. You're very limited with the failsafe for good reason, very limited. Let's see, what about cycle time and failsafe? Cycle, I don't know about the cycle time. It's fast. It can be real time. That's just the general. That's just the general, not going in details. Redundancy is basically a second standard thing, and if one standard thing fails, you have a second one. That's what redundancy would be, right? So in the other way here, standard, if you have a second standard, right, this would be your redundant one. You set up those two. If this one fails, if the standard fails, you still have the second one, which does exactly the same thing. That is what redundancy is, right? It's a different concept to standard, to failsafe. Hey, He-Man. Nice to see me back on YouTube. Thank you very much. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I just wanted to do some chill programming, but now that's what today is, right? Asking all kind of questions here. There we go. It's also using PLCs. Of course, all of this is standardized. PLCs are standardized overall. Like that's what they do, but for different purposes. You don't just have one standard. There's plenty. Yeah. So how you would set up failsafe usually? There's a couple of different ways. Usually, or depends on, but most times when I used it, I had a standard PLC and I had failsafe hardware that was working kind of independent from the PLC. Right? So you can have your failsafe hardware, or you can have failsafe standardized hardware and connect it to your failsafe PLC, which is also we can do, right? Different ways. This guy's a genius. Nah, Rocky. What does Sheldon always say from Big Bang? My mother had me tested. No, I wasn't tested, but I'm definitely not a genius. I'm a little bit experienced in the field, but there's people that know way more than I. Like half the chat sometimes, it feels like it. There we go. Good. Now that I have my IOs more organized a little bit. D, very good question. So D, on the topic of failsafe, what if your failsafe hardware is getting faulty? The system will stop. This failsafe hardware has self-checks integrated. If it detects there is an error in itself, this includes short circuits, this includes wear on the contacts, this includes many diagnostics. If it starts failing, it's going to shut off your system in a standardized failsafe way that you cannot mess up. I mean, you can mess up, of course, but once it is set up, it cannot really fail anymore. Your normal system can. You can mess up. You set up your normal system. The failsafe system, you pretty much can't. Of course, it needs some expertise to set up. Still, you can't. So, Nima has a question there. What is my favorite programming language? My favorite, I think, is Ladder if it comes to or Graph, S7 Graph, I would say. But I use a combination of all of them. Yeah, Ignatius also says you're using not an FCP. You need still an FCPU if you have an ET200 failsafe. But that is what I meant with you have external hardware. You have a standard CPU and then you have external failsafe hardware. Right? That is also a possibility. So a failsafe IO or so. Not an IO, but a whole system, a failsafe system, an external one. Yeah, that can be. Yeah, and then as I said, there's way more to it. Like check some checking and so on. Quite a bit. Oh, talking about checksum. Wait, I need to do that right now. And yes, I'm starting Steam for a very particular reason. I forgot I wanted to turn this on. I'm playing an idle game on Steam right now. This is just a quick thing on the side. I'm not going to play a game now. It's called Upload Labs. I will just have this running in the background now. Sorry, but you reminded me of it. Wait, what? The Checksum reminded me of it. This is a game for not nerds, but I really like this. You're setting up your own CPU, kind of, and the own CPU. You're producing like bits and bytes and so on, and you connect things and you upload things and so on. This is nice. And I started this today, and why I got in there is I have a checksum verifier. The files that I create, that I download, I have to go through a checksum verifier before I upload them and gain money from, not real money, but money in the game from those. So that's why I got reminded. So they get checksum verified. Thank you very much. Thanks for reminding me. I'm going to turn the sound off and I'm going to have this running on my second screen here. Mute everything, please. Thank you. There we go. Very, very nice little game, but I started with this today. That's why I was like, hey, how's it called? Upload Labs. Very fun game. So Hans asked if TI Portal works on Mac or iOS. Not as far as I know. You would need... I don't even know if you can run it on a virtual machine there because it is hardware dependent. It is using... Oh God, I forgot it. I forgot the framework it uses in the background, but it uses that, and which is Windows, so you cannot directly install it on Mac. Maybe you can find a workaround on Mac with some virtual machine magic, but I'm a Windows boy, right? So I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it. What I can officially say is that TI Portal has no official distribution for Mac. There we go. Okay, perfect. So I still have my I/O set up here, which I will have to re-import in a second. So for example, now that we talked about fail-safe hardware, there is an emergency stop input here. Right? This emergency stop input is absolutely illegal in this way. Right? If you have, and this is depends on country, right? We talked about failsafe now. If I have something that I call emergency stop, and all it does is it connects into a normal input, into a normal PLC, into my normally written program, and I use it in my program. It should turn off things in my program. However, if I call it emergency stop, and I have it in my normal program and something fails, and this thing, it can fail. It's not a fail-safe stuff, right? It's a normal thing that I called emergency stop. If this fails now and someone gets hurt in the progress, I am 100% liable as a machine designer, right? Because I have, and I will probably serve some jail time, and for good reason, because I have said, yes, the system uses emergency stop, but this is not an emergency stop. Right? This right now, this thing that I call emergency stop, this there, and it even has the yellow color, doesn't do what an emergency stop does. Right now, it is an input into my program, and that's it, into my standard program. It doesn't shut off the machine. It doesn't react to any fail-safe system. It's just, where is the difference to my stop button? There is no difference. Right? Now, if we would look at a real emergency stop, right, which this is not a real emergency stop, it would have maybe a feedback signal into my PLC, but more likely it would just have a feedback signal that I would use in my program, sure, but it would more likely be connected to my fail-safe CPU or not to my CPU at all. Depends on. Like a feedback would make sense, but no. There are 3 stop categories. There's still 3 stop categories. Industry. Yeah. There are 3 stop categories. Yes, today is like the thing. Right? So you have 3 stop categories that you could make like an emergency stop circuit in. None of those is just, right? None of those is, oh, let the program do stuff, just uncontrolled. No, there is it all has to do with specific hardware. The uncontrolled stop, power is immediately removed from the machine's actuator. This is not a safety stop. This is not a this is not an emergency stop. This is a power off. So theoretically, the first stop category is not even a stop. Now, the first real stop category is a controlled stop. Right? Now, a controlled stop could be an emergency stop button. With the emergency stop, you would have a controlled power. Like you shut off machine parts in a controlled way. So not everything is turned off. It's like emergency brakes and such. Right? And then you have your controlled stop with power maintained. That is a higher level stop, which you hit emergency stop and some machine parts might stop, and they might, like big magnets, for example, they might stay magnetized. Depends on. Right? Now all of this is then more like on the level, except for the category 0, right? Those 2 would be emergency stops. Those would link to those would be like yellow, red, right? The yellow and red colors, those are usually safety stuff. Yeah, the first one not. The first one is just like an off button, which has different levels of integration. But if you have like the yellow red stuff, it's got to be a higher level control system. You can't just turn machine parts off. However, that is Germany. That is German laws. I don't know about other countries, about other laws. But I wouldn't recommend. If I see something yellow, green, if I press that button, yellow, red, if I press that button, I would expect those two later things. If that doesn't happen, I could sue and I would win. It's that simple. Which I wouldn't do. It depends on what happens. Let's see. DS, if I do Siemens logo, I have done Siemens logo, but they are not, I wouldn't count them as PLCs, they're logic controllers. But I've worked with logo, yeah, but not in a long time. I might get one, but hey, it's Christmas. Maybe I'm getting one for Christmas. Let's see. Aniello asks, if I want to start programming Siemens PLCs, could I follow YouTube? Yes, I do have on my YouTube videos. Aniel, there is a link. Hey, look, there is a link in the chat. Hey, that guides you to my TIA portal tutorial on Udemy. You can get that. But no, my YouTube videos, there is a YouTube, what's it called? A playlist. Right? On my channel, there are playlists, and on the YouTube playlist, there is one with like 50 videos or so that is for beginners, yes. And it's free. Use that one. Alexander says, yeah, it's an emergency stop if it goes to the emergency safety relay. That is what I mean. Like, it needs safety. It needs special safety hardware. Yeah. Cyril asks if I worked with Arduino PLCs. I have not worked with Arduino PLCs. I've worked with Arduino microcontroller stuff. I do have one like somewhere in my tech cabinet. But I haven't done much with those. Ignatius, very good. All of this, like those categories, except for the uncontrolled stop is not safety, right? Those two, safety, they have, they are very much, they are standardized, and even if any of the hardware fails, those systems will shut off themselves, right? They know when the systems fail. So yes, they will stop themselves, which is by standards. You see, these categories are crucial for compliance with international standards. They are. Let's see. Oh, German. There's some German there. Let me see. So House MD. Hey. Hey Greg, how are you doing? Was sind die gängigen Methoden, um chemische Prozesse zu kontrollieren? Well, there are definitely standards, but so the question is, how would you control chemical processes? Well, there are definitely standards for chemical processes. I would probably not use TI Portal. Chemical processes sounds more like PCS7 for me, or PCS Neo. More like process control stuff. D. D. I do hope. Oh wait, that's by the way, that's what I see on the side here. That's where my chat answer is. I can show this, I hope. Yeah, sure, I can. No, I can do this. Wait, 1 second. So, 1 second, what I can show is... Oh, this is old. I haven't looked at those in a long time. Lessons, presentations, third semester. So, I can show you some of my third semester lectures that I did with students in the past. It's been some time, so I can... It says... Whew. Let me just 1 second. One second. Keep yourself entertained for a second here. I need to make one quick little change here in something. You don't need to know what I just did. It's okay. Don't even ask. Don't even ask. So I do have a PowerPoint here about slide, which I used in official Siemens classes, about like safety hardware. We have many different safety hardwares, right? And the question there was, hey, those are usually normally closed. You are correct, but you're also incorrect. You are correct in the way that safety hardware usually uses normally closed contacts. Right? However, that is not enough. If you have an emergency stop, for example, or any emergency like hardware components, right? They are usually wired not like this, which you would expect. This is not an emergency stop. Right? If you see the wiring here, electrical classes, I love it. Right? You have the e-stop as a normally closed in series here, and then it can turn stuff off. This is not an e-stop. This is a stop. This is stop category 0. If I press this, it turns off power category 0. Right? What we would need to do with this is we would need to protect it against many different problems that could occur. First problem is if this thing fails itself. Right? Like physically, mechanically, right? We have a second contact. So if you have hit an emergency stop, you're not disconnecting one contact, you're actually disconnecting 2 contacts. Right? There we go. 2 contacts. So they are in series inside of the device itself. So even if the contact solders shut, right, or is broken off physically or so, it's still, you have a redundant one. Second thing is they are forced opening. So if you press the button, it literally breaks open something on the inside. Emergency stop buttons are not for you to press open, press open, press open, press open. They're going to break at some point. Highly not recommended because there's a lot of force acting inside of them. And then, of course, there's many more levels to emergency stop. You see how many iterations I have here on the same circuit to make it fail-safe. Right? What you would do is you would use some fail-safe hardware or a fail-safe CPU that takes care of so many different problems that we have when we talk about safety in machines. It is not just a push button. It's way, way, way more than that. So welcome to not TIA Portal anymore. Welcome to the hardware part of things, which of course I also know quite a bit about. There we go. Yeah. Let's go. Some more questions there. So Nima asks, I see that you've made quite a few Unity videos. What do I think about Unity? Unity is a very nice tool. You see, I even have it down here in my taskbar. And it's one of my main tools, actually, that I've been using. Yeah. Let's see. Darrell asks, do you recommend any books related to PLCs? Yes. If you're completely new to the topic, there is. I always forget what the PLC book is. PLC S7 book, but it shows up if I search for PLC S7 book. Yes, automating with S7 1500s. That's the one that I would recommend. Thing with S7 1500. I think that's it. Where the author. Oh, come on. Hans Berger. Yes, the book recommendation is Hans Berger, who's the author with automating with S7 1500. There is a German and an English version. I, of course, have the German version. Yeah. There we go. Book recommendation. Daryl asks if my PowerPoints are... No, those are... No, I can't use those in any other content. As I said, I have many things that I cannot share publicly. It's even... I'm not supposed to probably show this, but it's been such a long time that I've used this. The school doesn't even exist anymore. Hey. There we go. So I'm closing this up. Let's see. So Yusuf, hello master, I'm an electrical engineer from Turkey. Offer you my endless thanks. You're very, very welcome. Right? Very welcome. Thank you for watching them. Thanks for enjoying them. So because I know wiring of the stop button is the same. If your stop button is wired the same way as an emergency stop button, it is not an emergency stop button. It really is simple as that. Emergency stop button uses emergency stop circuits. Right? You cannot have, well, as I said, this here, first iteration of this. This here is a stop button. Electrically seen. If this button is activated, your power will switch off. If you really need to have an emergency stop circuit, right, the least you would have to do is implement many more safety mechanisms or use safety hardware. If you have an emergency stop button and you do not have emergency stop relays, you're kind of doing it not 100% correct. And for those emergency stop relays, just search for emergency stop relays and those things will come up. Yeah. Because an e-stop as well, right? An e-stop as well, if I look at this. So this is how the e-stop is wired here, right? One. It has two circuits, this one. And this is just an example, right? Those two circuits are permanently monitored for a short circuit, for error currents, for ground fault indications, for clamping of those lines. So even if those wires are clamped a little bit, the thing will shut off. That is what an emergency stop is. Those wires are so extremely protected by this device, right? They are wired into this device. Your emergency stop is not a normal stop button. By far, right? By far it's not. If it is a normal stop button, you at least in Germany, would be liable. If Alexander asked, if it does it not exist as an input to your PLC, depends on your program, right? A lot of those things have a feedback. Usually this feedback, I would not say the feedback goes to your PLC from the button itself. The feedback comes from your emergency stop relay system. So this one has an output to connect to your PLC. So you would not have emergency stop button, but you would have emergency relay system as an input. Yeah. Kapal also says, yes, it's also a control mix between channel A and B. Yes, yes, there is a lot of things going on. Emergency stop is a huge topic in itself. But of course, this could have an impact. Like if we press this, usually your PLC program would react to this with an input. But that's your standard program, right? That would be a standard program on the one side, but your failsafe program, this stuff, it's not even a program, right? This right now is literally hardware. Does an addressable safety relay exist? Yes, Ramdane. There are many different relays. There are even relays that safety relays that you would connect through Profinet. There is a whole topic about this called Profisafe. Profisafe. Now I love it that this is now a class about about safety, which is Ask Me Anything session today, right? So Profisafe itself, right? You have Profinet. Imagine your Profinet network is slow, or you have Ethernet. Your Ethernet network is slow. Right? There is a delay in this, maybe 10 milliseconds, maybe 30 milliseconds, maybe 100 milliseconds, but there is a delay in there. Which, of course, if you have a safety application, no, it's not safety anymore. You cannot send safety information through a normal, like through a normal network. Also, not through a normal Profinet network. That is not allowed by law. Right? So if you have a safety application, you cannot use normal networking stuff. What you can do, though, is you have specialized hardware that is Profisafe hardware. And Profisafe hardware uses Profinet, and you can connect Profinet, like an emergency stop or so, through Profinet, but you have to use the Profisafe protocol for it, which is very difficult, right? Which is a topic in itself. Let's see. Which is also like addressable safety relay. That's how I got there. Yes, addressable, yes, but you will have to use different standards. If you have a Profinet network and you want to connect like a safety relay, an emergency stop in your Profinet network, you have to use Profisafe. Or it's not an emergency stop anymore. You will still say, hey, I have an emergency stop. If you're using normal Profinet, you do not have an emergency stop anymore. No. You have a glorified stop button, but you don't have one. Like an emergency stop. If you have a real emergency stop, like addressable through like networks and so, Profisafe is the idea here. Let's see. No Copyright says you have problems with installing TI Portal on Windows 11. Does anyone have? No Copyright Music. Are you installing it on Windows 11 Home or Professional? I know that there are many problems with the Home edition of Windows 11. I also had some problems with TIA version 20, like some time ago. Try updating your Windows. That might help. But if it is Home Edition, oh, it is Professional. Okay, Professional should not have a problem at all. Professional should be fine. Maybe you have to run the installation or in administrator mode. That's what I usually have. Like the problem that I have sometimes is like admin mode is not active. Yeah, it can work on Home Edition, but on Pro it definitely works. Strange. Yeah, try in administrator mode. Let's see, Kapal. Also, this is for a country that follows safety rules. That's what I mean. Like this is safety. In Germany, I would be liable. I know in America and Canada as well, but I don't know about many other countries. Right? This stuff is expensive. We're talking like really expensive prices because they are standardized. They are extremely high quality, right? So they are manufactured in very, very special ways. Yes, very expensive. But if you have people there, it's all about people safety, right? We're not talking about machine safety anymore. We're talking about more the people. Like, I don't want anyone to get damaged or hurt by anything that I ever built. Right? I know how much 400 volts hurt if you get that tingle in your hand and you have to go to the doctor and for a couple of weeks you're afraid that something else that something got damaged in your body. I have been hit by 400 volts, so I understand. Like we need to be safe. Like all of this needs to be safe stuff. And it's expensive, and I'm willing to pay the price if I set up a machine, and I have to, because if then I would be needed to be certified. Let's see. D also says exactly. My question is if we use normally open contract in wiring for start button, when we use a normally open on the PLC DI, but we use normally open contract of DI, even a hardware wiring NC for emergency stop or stop button. Oh, that is actually a simple question. That is a simple answer there, D. It's the same reason. Right, so basically D asks, usually those are normally closed. Why are they normally closed? Why is this normally closed? Well, it is, I mean, not simple, but the answer is here. Let me make a new paint. Do I have paint still open? No. Does someone see paint? No, paint. Right. So why is your safety stuff always normally closed? Right. It's actually quite simple. If you have a push button, go safe, not cheap. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people go cheap, and maybe nothing happens in 40 years, which I wish everyone, but safety is like you're paying for the one moment where something goes wrong. So, very simple thing here. This is now a short, this is your input. This is your PLC in. Now, if you press this button, and I'm using the German, like annotate, there's different things, like this is a push button for me. No, this is a push button, actually. This is a push button. If you press this, what's going to happen is, of course, this thing will be activated. And now it is closed. And now your input will read 24 volts, right? Now, why would you use a normally closed instead? Imagine a wire breaks. There is an open wire here. This wire is now broken. So even if you press the button, what is your PLC going to read? The button is not pressed. Right? So the PLC cannot differentiate between pressing a button and not pressing a button anymore for a normally open contact, right? So normally open, the button will just count as not pressed the whole time, even if you press it. Now, if you have a stop button and you have a broken wire, how should the system react? The system for a stop button should react the opposite for a start button. For the start button, the system should react, the button is not pressed. Don't start, right? Don't start, don't start, don't start. Even if you press the button, it's not going to start, right? Now, if you have a normally closed, and now we are kind of in the basics there, but that's perfect, right? As I said, I'm going through questions there. Now, if you have an NC, why would you have an NC, which looks like this for me? Now for an NC, right, if you press the button, it's going to open up, or if the wire is broken, the system will think that the button is pressed, which you prefer for a stop button, right? For a stop button, if a wire is broken now, it will think that the button is pressed. That's as simple as it is. Right? That's why we have it. So in case of a broken wire. The same goes for your analog stuff. That is also why most analog inputs do not go from 0 to 20 milliamps. Right? You cannot detect a broken wire on 0 to 20 milliamps. Usually your analog inputs will go from 4 to 20 milliamps. So in case of a broken wire, the module will detect, oh, we have 0 milliamps, meaning we are broken. Right? That is why you have this kind of 4 there. Yeah, we typically call this failsafe wiring. Exactly, it's failsafe wiring. Yeah, security positive sale. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, in different languages there even. Let's see. What is an automation engineer's salary in Germany? Ahmed asks. Good question. I don't know. I'm self-employed. I could tell you how much money I make, but I will not. In Germany, we don't talk about money too much, which is wrong. I would say that is wrong in our society. But yeah, now you understand. You're very welcome. Perfect. Then I have made my good deed of the day. Yeah. I will not tell you how much I make. Depends on. It depends on many things, but I would say like the hourly wage could be approximately 100 euros or so. Like if you would ask me, hey, can you help me with the project or so, I would probably take around 150 to 200 euros, which sounds a lot, right, per hour. But I'm self-employed. That would include my manager. That would include my taxes, the income tax right there, and so on. So that's not what I would be getting. But I have to act as a company, so I would be more on that side. But if you if you're an employee in a company, I would say it starts at 100 euros per hour, right? Which is on the lower side, I would even say. Depends on what you're doing. If you're a safety engineer, if you do this stuff, you will definitely earn way more. But you have a lot of responsibility. That's why I'm not doing it. I don't like responsibility. Please, is there a job opening in automation? I don't know. I don't know about jobs. Yeah, it depends on. Automation engineers earn a lot in every country. Yeah, depends on what you're doing. Right? Depends on really what you're doing. But you have a lot of responsibility. Let's see, more questions there. In StarDrive gibt es eine Möglichkeit, eine kleine Logikverknüpfung zu erstellen. Kannst du es? I haven't used StarDrive too much. I could probably get in there, but no. How do you get me money? I turned this off. Sorry, my Matrix. Kuss aus dem Saarland. Kuss aus. Danke. Ich wusste gar nicht, dass das. I didn't know you could give me money. Don't stop that. Thank you very much. 100 euros is very cheap. That is what you would earn. That is not what you would pay. As I said, like if you would have me do something, I would take more like 200 euros per hour, which is still on the okay side, definitely. Yeah. But I'm not doing it for the money. To be frank, I don't know. I don't know like what I'm doing, why I'm doing this. Why would I be doing this? Yeah. Please, Eli 5, how communication works. Cognex camera. I didn't do much of the. I mean, I can do the distributed I/O, but haven't used cameras too much, especially lately. Are there any good books for notation or schematic creation? I mean, there's standards, right? So you don't really have to get books. You just have to look up the programming standard, the IEC 61131-3. So if you need to look up something, and just get the standard there, IEC 61131-3. That is your programming. That's your PLC programming standard. So whatever you need is written in there, so you can get that standard. So IEC 61131-3. So look that up. There's definitely good books about it. It's a standard you can get. What happens to Singer? Very good question. What happened to the base? And let's say, what does the title of the video say? It's an Ask Me Anything session and chill programming. You're completely correct. Good question. I have not forgotten about it, but yep, it's in the background there. Is Berlin a good city to find a job as PLC programmer? No. Simply said, there is no industry in Berlin. There is almost no demand here. Right? If you in Germany, if you would like to get like a job in this field, I would probably recommend the Ruhrpott. Right? Like where industry is in Germany. Berlin has barely any industry. There is some, but it's quite hard to get in there. Of course there is, but I would recommend different cities. Any good books on dedicated to industrial communication? Not that I've read any. I would probably, if I needed a book about it, I would probably go into, I don't know. Haven't read any. Not lately. Cologne, for example. I have worked in Cologne as an engineer for some time. Yes, Cologne has some industry. Cologne is good for engineers, especially for Siemens. I've worked there for a bit. That was nice. I really enjoyed the time there. So Severin asked for a video about the connection of two PLCs. Reading the I/O of other PLCs. I do have a whole list of videos about I/O communication between PLCs. There are many different principles. Nowadays, I have not done a video about the newest principle. If you want to go PLC communication, I think the best thing nowadays would be still setting up an OPC UA server system. That is also for PLC communication. I think that's what I would use nowadays. Yeah. Let's see. Write the name of the city where the industrial city that I would recommend. Wait, let me see if I can not dox myself. I hope I cannot dox myself. Maps. Can I open up maps without it knowing where I live? I can't. Screw you, maps. This is incognito mode. It should be fine, right? Yeah. Okay. Should be fine. There we go. I would recommend, of course, this area here, right? Dortmund, Wuppertal, Düsseldorf, Duisburg, Köln. This area in Germany. Like this southwest area here, or more the west area, that is where our whole industry is. So I would recommend there. If you really want to go a job in automation, there it is. Would recommend that area. And you can see how many roads there are. Yeah, this is the busy part of Germany. Let's see. Oh, so many questions coming in there. Sorry, I can't read that fast. That's actually weird because Siemens Germany control company. But I know Siemens is a very international factory. They do have Siemens is big in Berlin, but they don't have many factories. Right? So they are big in like administration and stuff in Berlin, and research development and such, but not so much automation. Let me see. I'm trying to read everything. It's really hard to learn about industrial communication like Modbus. Yeah, I will try to compile some stuff. I have some stuff on my list there. Tunisia, an automation engineer gets paid around 580 euros with more than 1 year of experience. Minimum wage is... How expensive is stuff in Tunisia? Is that what you pay for an engineer, or is that what an engineer gets? Because those are two different pairs of shoe, right? Let's see. I can also... Average salary Germany PLC engineer. I'll just Google stuff. Yeah, 50 to 70,000 gross per year. Yeah, that's what I would have thought. Right. Per hour. That's what I would have thought. No. A PLC engineer, no way that you only get like 42 euros per hour. That is not true. But that's fine. Like I would say, like you can earn 100K per year as an engineer, but that's on the okay. That's on the good side. Those are definitely older numbers. Let's see. Best Döner is in Dortmund. The best Döner kebab in Dortmund. I don't know. I haven't been there. Maybe it is. So Valerie says my entire Siemens playlist saved me 5 years. Hey, you're welcome. Packing for a lane of beer. Maybe you can give me a beer at some point. I'll take one. But you're very welcome. Do I do panel design, ePlan, AutoCAD? I don't do panel design now. Bascannon asks if I have taken any official Siemens TI programming courses. Of course I have. Yes, I have taken official Siemens programming courses, but I have also given and taught official Siemens programming courses. Yes, not just TIA. Teaching, yes, only TIA, but no, not only TIA, but yeah. Oh, he means 580 per month. Yeah, that makes more. No, 580 per month. That's too few. Might be, but Tunisia, I don't know. But yeah, let's see. What about Stuttgart? I heard Stuttgart is also okay. Yeah, there are some more German cities, but not. I wouldn't recommend Berlin for industry. We have some, but not too much. Let's see. What would you advise in learning BIHL Wiedemann ISI safety circuit systems using a Profinet TIA portal setup? Probably, right? Probably like a C-Train Kurssuche. I would search for a C-Train training, right? Asking for like an ASA Profinet TI training, right? There are official Profinet trainings from C-Train, right? So I would go in the C-Train searching. There are many trainings here. For example, Profinet. You can even C-Train certifies you as Profinet stuff, right? Oh, Profinet with Siemens controllers. Like there is a whole training itself dedicated to that stuff. That certification is valued, yes. Depends on. But let me give you like the list of C-Train stuff there. But this, of course, is rather... It's not expensive. It is expensive, but it is expensive for reasons. Let's see. Oh my god, so many questions. I'm sorry if I can't keep up. If I have no safety relay with 2 normally open contacts, is it safe to supply contactors using just one contact for one contactor? There are many different. So Laska asks, basically, if you don't have redundant contacts, is it okay if you supply it with one? Usually the contacts are in a series, right? In your safety relay. Right? You see that? Depends on... Oh, this one has 2, but there's different safety relay types and so on. But yeah, you would have to look up your safety relay setups. There's different wirings possible. Simple as that. This was just an example here. Let's see, more questions. Why can't we use OPC-UA with VFDs like Profibus, Profinet, or Modbus? Probably in the future we can, but right now that's just not how VFDs are set up. They use their Profi Drive protocol. That's OPC-UA is still fresh. It can probably be set up to work with like a VFD and so on, but not that I've seen it. Let's see. Do I plan on making a playlist about motion control? I think I have a motion control playlist, but inside of TI portal. Let's see. Are chemical plants rather DCs controlled than PLCs? Depends on. But if you have chemical control plants, you would probably go with an S7-400 and with a, not TI portal, but PCS Neo systems. So more process control systems, but can be PLCs as well. So Jose says there are PLC programmers in the US that make only $40 in the USA. Depends on there's a whole range, right? As I said, like especially as an entry, and as I said, I would take probably like 150 or 200 euros, right? Because I act as a company. Again, what I mean is, what you pay someone to do is you're usually not paying one person. If you're a company that has an employee, that employee gets, of course, paid an hourly wage. But if you need a company to do something for you, right? They have an engineer, but they have the whole like overhead costs and so on that you also have to pay for. So you're paying way more. Probably an engineer hour is like 150 euros. What does an engineer hour costs? Approximately. I can't spell the word approximately. Yeah. Approximate cost of an engineer varies widely, as I said. Typical range 40 to 400 euros per hour. That is not what you get, but that is what you pay. That is also why I'm self-employed. That is what I would be getting. Sure. But PLCs, this stuff here is not overly specialized. If you, for example, if you really are for the money, specialize in safety, for example, specialize in something, it will be much harder to get a job. It will be much more responsibility. However, the money is much better. The more you specialize, the more money you will get. Right? If you just like me, I'm not specialized really, right? So I can do it all a little bit, especially PLC programming. I would be more on the like I can do everything a little bit side. So there's so many of me out there that of course we can the price can be quite low, right? So yeah, there are many programmers nowadays, especially with the uprising of AI. I would say things will will change. Don't know for positive or negative, but will still change in the near future, right? Especially at price wise. We will see how affected our branch here of PLC programming will be by PLCs. Not as much as other branches of programming, however, it's still affected. OT, cybersecurity is big and niche, right? Yes, cybersecurity, everything that has security in it definitely still earns like a way more than just PLC programmer, just the one that makes your machine work. There is a whole there is a bandwidth of different jobs in there. So Chad Ranesh asks, why do we use OPC-UA? OPC-UA is just like your server. You have your data in OPC-UA, and it's in a nice format so that all of your machines can work with it in an easy way. It's just your standardized way of communicating industry data. So Best Cannon asks, I've already got TI Pro 1 and I'm thinking to go on. Do you recommend me to sign up for more TI Pro classes? Actually, Best Cannon, I was giving a Programming 2 class last week online, and they changed the concept. And I really much like the new concept. It goes into programming and standardization like in 1 week, so much content in there. So I can recommend the new Programming 2, right? If you would like to, if you really would like to go on there, maybe ask if they are offering the new version or the old version. I don't know how it is like called on the outside, but the new version, I think I was the first one that actually used the new version as a trainer. That was really great, really good content. The old one is also good, but the new one is really, it puts like the cherry on top. So I can highly recommend the new one. Last there asks, how do I find work for myself? I don't know. I'm just doing my thing. I've always been wondering, how do I find work for myself? I don't know. The thing is, I'm not very picky. I just work. I'm not picky. If someone asks, I usually, if I have the time and want to spend some effort, I do. I'm not very picky. I'm also like for money, for example, I'm very cheap. As like a company, if you need me to do something, I'm extremely cheap, in contrast to many others. Yeah, that's how I can. That's my USP. My unique selling point is I'm cheap. Go make me do something. I'm cheap. Like my workforce is cheap. Let's see. What do I think about Node-RED as automation engineer? I mean, it's a necessity, right? Node-RED, I haven't worked with it much, but I've heard it quite a lot. So I see it as a necessity, as like, yeah, as like an industrial Internet of Things tool. Yeah, I haven't worked with much, but it is a necessity. It's good, but I haven't used it much. Do I know about BMS systems like Design, CC, Siemens? I've heard BMS, but I don't know right now what exactly. So maybe yeah, maybe no. Not really. Do I have any projects to use Excel from unified projects? Haven't done much there, sorry. Oh, so much text. So many questions. Valerie says that's a good point. Easiest way to get into the market is finding a traveling field service engineer gig if you have low experience. You won't be able in Germany, I would say. So we don't really have those, but in other countries, definitely. Like in Germany, it's more of a system where you apply for a job and you stay in the same job for like 10, 20 years. Right? That's what it usually kind of is, at least from my experience. You won't hop jobs too much. Also, as a newbie, you will get into a job and you will stay in there. But the jobscape has changed quite a bit in the last 10 years. It has gotten much faster. Let's see. Nima says there, we invoice between approximately 200 and 240 euros. Yeah, exactly. Depending on whether you are an engineer or senior engineer. Yeah, that's realistic, I would say. Companies always looking for weaknesses. Yes. Have I done anything with WinCC Unified Runtime, PC Runtime? I haven't. I still need to. I know I have done something with WinCC Unified PC Runtime, but it didn't work. I couldn't make it work. I tested it out for a couple of hours, and I was getting so frustrated I couldn't get it done. So I haven't. Which was already like a couple of years back. That's why I couldn't make it work. So yeah. Let's see. Free Scala, everything that's free is good. Wojtek there. Ich wollte dir einfach mal Danke sagen. Bitte sehr, bitte sehr. Bitte sehr. You're very, very welcome. Building management. Oh, BMS building management system. Okay, no, I haven't done much there. I'm more automation, right? I don't know if you can talk about it. Do you have courses in English and German training center? I do have courses like for C-Train. I do, for example, the programming 1, programming 2. I do in German and English. I haven't done in German in this year, but maybe next year again. Depends on when Siemens wants my help. And I always ask Siemens, hey, you know what? I'm cheap. You can order me. If you need a trainer, I'm cheap. Let's see. Where can I get a job as PLC software engineer with C++? I mean, I would look up on Google, on Monster. We have many websites, right? I think in Germany, like the most famous websites for getting jobs in Germany, I think are Stepstone. My recommendation, what I would do is I would look up in Stepstone. There are a lot of jobs on there. That's in Germany, right? I can only say German. Stepstone is a German website. Then we have Monster. Right, Monster or Jobware. Did they change the name? They probably did, because Monster. No, Monster is still there. Monster for jobs. And then there is what is very powerful. It's actually LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, you can find a lot of jobs through LinkedIn itself. Like in Germany, this is the official like where a lot of professionals search for jobs and yeah. Like this is your social network for jobs, more I would say. No. I'm not using it too much, but I'm not searching for work too much. Those would be my 3 sources: Stepstone, LinkedIn, and Monster. I would search for. Or I do have a lot of industrial contacts. Of course, I personally have different sources, but as a new one, that's what I would try to do. And that was not the correct. It said my not IP, but it tried to dox me that was not correct. I love the internet, how it never really works. Can HMI also read emails and do something in the PLC? Yes, Masood. PLCs have an email feature which you can use, and you can also connect that to your PLC in your net. Hey, I haven't used. Now it's been almost 2 hours and I've just been talking. This is fun. This is great, actually, just talking for now. That's what I planned for today, right? Now, who asked Mahmoud? I think, right? Or no, Masood asked there. You see this? if you have a PLC, it has connections. There is even an email connection. You can set up easily with TI Portal a so-called email connection to a server, and the PLC can then work with emails in the same way an HMI also can. Can't show how to set this up right now, but yes, there is this feature there, which isn't too difficult. By the way, the same goes for PLC connection, which might be an S7 connection here, for example. Well, maybe a TCP connection or UDP, but those are for data connection, and then you have HMI. You have email for email connection, which you can set up for HMIs, I think, and for servers, not for PLCs. For PLCs, you would need the program block. There is a program block for email something. I haven't used it, but I know it exists. Just a second there. Technology communication. There is something like mail server or something. Yeah, web server. No, web server is not mail server. Others? Modbus, communication processes. Wasn't there like a mail, T-mail? Send an email, receive email, like stuff you can do, but I haven't done that. But I know it can. Summer asks, can I work as an automation engineer in Germany without speaking German? I don't know the landscape, the job landscape in Germany too well right now. I would say it would be difficult, especially as an engineer. I think it is still very important that you do stuff in German. For many reasons. One big reason is that all the documentation, everything has to be in German. Like we have laws, we have regulations. Yeah. You, of course, there's the other question from Jose asking, do German automation companies hire foreign workers outside of Germany? Yes, definitely they do. Right? Definitely they hire stuff, but difficult for me to say, right? I know it happens. I know that there are sometimes jobs out there. For me, I'm in a different position, so I can't really say too much. It is difficult. That's what I can say. Definitely difficult. So Future says no lol. I don't know to what, but that's okay. Most of the PLCs have SMTP compatibility. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. So your PLCs can do normal networking stuff, right? They have Profinet, but they can still do normal network stuff. What is the so Pepper asked, what is the tough part about it? WinCC Unified in comparison to the legacy system. The tough part is for me for WinCC Unified that way more is with scripting, right? You will do way more like this because it is web. It's all on web servers. It's all website stuff. You will do much more scripting with like JavaScript and such, which I have not. I don't have too much experience in that. My girlfriend is way better with this. She does like web stuff all day long. She's very, very good with this. And whenever I have issues with websites also, she can help. But yeah. And that's what WinCC Unified kind of is, right? It's more of like a web-based language-based stuff, which isn't too complex. It's integrated quite well, but that would be my biggest problem with it. Let's see. Nima asked, do I work with Siemens? I currently only work with Siemens PLCs. I have the plan to get into others, but that's how life is, right? We always plan. So specialize in Siemens. Let's see. And by the way, I'm totally messing up all your names, and I'm very sorry for that. Laska, I think, or Oral asks, if I have a safety relay with two output contacts, using just one to supply something without redundancy, can the output contact of the safety relay weld close? Look you will have to look in the documentation of the relay because there's many different relays. For some probably yes, for some probably no. You would have to get in really with the specific relay. Normally, I would say that that they have like some process about that should prevent this from happening, right? Which is redundancy usually, but I don't. You would have to look in your into your safety relay documentation. Sorry. Soram asks, if I've worked with PC-based PLCs, you have to migrate one. I have not. I have, but that's long ago, and I wouldn't trust my knowledge on there anymore. You have to migrate one. Oof. But for migration, Ramdane, I can share another link, and this one, whew, I haven't done any programming, fantastic. For the link, wait, let me give you another link. It might take a second. Go on with the chat, I will be back with you in a second here. This one. Is that English or German? That's even English. Look at this. I'm going to give you another free link. This free link that I'm giving you now. Right. And sorry, I'll be back with you in a second there, but Dane had the question there. For migration. Right. This link that I gave you is TIA Portal, an overview of the most important documents and links for the controller, right? This gives you an overview, and you see there is one big tab here called migration. That's how I got to it, right? And there is definitely like a migration from this controller to that controller or so, right? There's migration tools, especially for TI Portal and so on. Right. There is the TI migration tool, which I can recommend. I haven't used it I haven't used it in some longer time, but still, this stuff should help. There's so many different migrations that are possible, but that's the direction I would push you. There we go. What do I think about Siemens AX? I don't like AI stuff too much yet. It is powerful, and it will, like automatic code generation, will take over in the future, but we'll see. Don't like it yet. But I will have to be prepared for it in the future. Have I worked with web UX before? I haven't. No, I'm not a web developer too much. Guten Abend, good evening from Stuttgart. Hey Ono, hi, how are you doing? Has this been 2 hours already? I've just been talking. This is fun. Thank you very much for joining. I hope it's not too boring. I mean, I gave you a lot of powerful links and so on. So yeah, something. Do I have experience with PCS7? Yes, I do have experience with PCS7, but I have no license. I can't really do much with it right now. But it would be interesting. But it's much more powerful than, powerful. It's different than TI Portal. But yeah. If you have questions, I can try to answer them though. When could I talk about motion control? I do not, but I talk about this a little bit, but I can... He's not here today, but there's usually Jason here, right? I will just share his channel. He talks a ton about motion controls in PLCs, and he's usually joining in here. Jason, if you have motion control topics, you can talk with him every now and then, right? He also streams. He's joined in on those evenings every now and then, like pretty much every time now. But yeah, motion control topics really over there. And Ice9, I read your message early on, and I saw you deleted it. Okay, there it is again. So let's see. But I'm slowly approaching the end of my question list here. That's good. Asking which part of Germany is good for junior software engineer in C++ and C#. I mean, you can get a job with those topics all around the place, I would say. But every time, it's always the big cities. With those, you can get into the big cities. So Jayton asks, want to start a career in oil and gas industry? I've learned Alan Bradley, TI Portal. Don't know how to approach a SCADA project. I mean, try to get an official training. There are official Siemens trainings, for example, for those topics. Simple as that. Sorry, I have to brush through those. I'm very sorry, but it's so much right now. Let's see. Ice9, once a Portuguese Siemens recruiter sent me message for an opportunity through LinkedIn. Yeah. But was for another country. You were not interested, but they do that. That's what I say. Like, LinkedIn is a powerful tool. I get questions there every now and then. So I'm not really active on there, but LinkedIn is very, very powerful tool. Yeah. Try to build a network. Try to get into a LinkedIn network with, like, there's even LinkedIn groups, so to say, where they have jobs and they are willing to share anything on there. Yeah. So try to spend an evening on there and just, like, it's a social network. It's pretty cool. Hey, Silent Sniper, Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, for Jason, you can join his Discord, right? When he's here, he usually shares the Discord. I don't have the link right now, but yeah, on his channel there is definitely a link. Will we get a Siemens library tutorial in the future? I mean, yeah. I've got that. Hey, I've got that. Let's put that on the list. I didn't talk about anything technical today. I'm so sorry. Didn't I talk? We already talked a bit libraries. I've got that here. At least it's in my covered topics. Didn't talk about it too much. But I talked about it a little bit. So I've got that. Let's see. Blazo says, oh no, wait, I've skipped. Oh my god, so many questions. Do I have experience with Cimaris suit? No, I've never heard Cimaris suit. That sounds interesting. No, I've never worked with this. Gebäudetechnik again. I'm not really, I'm in automation, right? Not building automation. So this is building automation. I'm more industrial automation, right? I haven't done much with building automation. That's why I probably didn't hear about it. Let's see. Blazo says, since the job market is good for now, which sector is recruiting for now in Germany? I think everything that has to do with like a safe job you can get in. Everything cybersecurity stuff, cloud stuff is very, very important right now. I would say those are the ones that you can get the easiest jobs in. Everyone's always asking now. Drive motion control, Jason's the best. Yeah, is it possible to add me on LinkedIn? You can add me, but I'm never on there. The last time I've been on LinkedIn, it's probably been, I don't know, a couple of years. I'm sorry, you can add me though. When I'm on there, I will also probably say yes, but I haven't been on there for a long time. I also have turned off my notifications on there. I should probably, it's kind of sabotaging myself if I'm not reacting on there, but still. Which SCADA software would I recommend? Good question. I will think about it. I don't have a recommendation on SCADA right now. Maybe missed it, maybe look at it. I think I talked about libraries the last week or the week before, but just a little bit, not too much, but a bit. How to use libraries, yeah, I did. Hey Chu, hi. Let's see. Since AI has taken over, why should we learn to code? Oh, that's a big one, of course. Should we not learn ideas to tell them what to do? Both, right? This is now a bit of course, also philosophical. And you can see in my browser, I even have ChatGPT right there. I have cursor on my desktop. So last week or the week before, I talked about automatic code generation. Now, there is, of course, it's a huge topic. Yes, and I would agree, yes, you don't really need to learn coding too much anymore. You should still be able to work with code. Right? You still need to understand what's going on. You need someone to troubleshoot. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. You need someone to troubleshoot. Your AI systems, they are not perfect yet. At some point, maybe in the future, they might become very, very even more powerful. They might become perfect. For now, I think we're still on the safer side. And what I have seen from AI this far is it's mostly slop, right? There is this word, I think, I don't know if I used this word any time before, but I've heard a lot of AI slop. Right? That is my feeling of almost AI. It helps a ton. It helps me to generate code. It helps me to organize my program. But if I let the AI do everything, it's just slop. Right? It's sloppy work. It's not good. Don't forget, and that's also valid for the future, AI has to be trained. And AI currently is trained by the freaking internet. Right? It's, yes, what you say, what Rissy says there, it's Alpha Mittelmaß. Yes, that's pretty much it. And the internet is both the smartest place that you could ever imagine and the most stupid piece of shit that you could ever see, that you could possibly imagine, right? So AI is trained with all of this. Theoretically, it can be very, very good. It won't be. Right? It could be, but you have to tell it like 10, 20 times. Hey, this isn't working. Can you improve this? This is not perfect. The code looks like a mess. Can you improve? You have to still force it so much. That is where Siemens AX, for example, has big advantages because it is trained on like Siemens specific topics where it is like more on a controlled like data level, much better. Still not perfect though. AI hallucinates more. AI just makes things up as well. Like it because it has learned from the internet. It's not good. Simply said, it's not good. Theoretically, it can be good, but on average, it is trash. Right? Currently. In the future, it will still have to be trained much more. It is a tool, definitely. You don't do as much coding in the future currently as well, right? You don't do as much coding anymore. AI will help you with a lot of things, of course, but you still have to be able to do it, right? You have to work with that. The job kind of changes. Right? You don't create as much yourself anymore, but you still have to control all of that the same way. So most managers nowadays, they think, oh, I can't just replace my programmers. I can just replace people with AI. No, no, you cannot. If you try, you will not succeed. AI is stupid. It is. It is smart and it is stupid. It's like a little kid, a very, very intelligent little kid. It doesn't know what it's doing. It just creates. Right? Yeah. So we're still quite safe. There will be more specialized systems in the future, but that will probably not be perfect for a long time. But who knows? There we go. That's my 10 cents on the topic. Bankrupting the company speedrun. That happened a lot already. Many companies, many managers saw this as an opportunity and they were like, hey, let's have AI everything. And they failed miserably already. Because they let go their most valuable programmers because they thought, hey, we can replace them. It's much easier to deal with AI than with people. No, absolutely not. And also, it is not going to stay as cheap as it is. Currently, AI is cheap because it is still in the learning part. They are using all of your input data and everything to teach the systems. As soon as the systems have become more stable, as soon as they have become better, AI companies, they want their money. And they already do that a lot of times now. AI isn't as cheap anymore as it used to be in the beginning, and it will just rise in the price immensely. Ja. Next, Jobcenter zahlt für Siemens Zertifikat. So I was somebody asking if, like in Germany, we can have government agencies can help you with education and so on. And I don't think that Siemens certificates are on their official list. There are official lists. I don't think Siemens certificates are on there, but I'm not sure. But I don't think so. Also ich denke nicht, aber vielleicht. Aber ich glaube eigentlich nicht. There we go. Sorry, this is AI. I do like AI, and I'm not against it. It's a good tool. However, it's not this magical thing that will change the whole world, but it will not make everything perfect and easy, especially not in the beginning here. Yeah, and it has become to be more and more sloppy because more and more people are using it, and the more people use it, the sloppier it will get. Especially the public models. Yeah. There we go. Perfect. Shall we start programming? This has been 2 hours. Oh no. I've just talked. This is what I said, right? The title of the stream is Ask Me Anything, right? Für E-Mails schreiben ist es top. No, I don't like receiving those. Wait, can I open my Gmail here? Wait a second. No, I don't think it is good. It is good as a tool for your emails, but the counter side, right? will immediately understand, oh, you're using AI to write your email. Thank you for taking not even a second. So if I see those emails, I'm always quite upset. And most times you can see it as it was written with AI. Most times. Not always, of course not, but most times. It is a nice tool. But I'm also like, yeah, thank you. You didn't even read what I wrote, did you? But that's just an old man like saying, oh no, I'm against it. It is great. It is a good tool, like depending on. I use it as well. Let's see. Jose asks, what do I think about digital twins? Siemens has some digital twin solutions. Unnecessary most times. Now, if we talk to digital twins, and Siemens has a couple of digital twin solutions, yes. And I have just last week, I have used a digital twin solution for Siemens, which is, we have used Simit. We have used Simit last week for a training, which helps for which is one solution for Siemens, which is a simulation platform for virtual commissioning. Now I like it. It's a cool topic, and I think talking about money, you can make a lot of money in that field. I think for most times it is this, and then there is Siemens NX. MCD, which was a solution, NXX nowadays, fascinating. There's MCD, which is also for digital twins, virtual commissioning stuff, right? Like 3D, nice things that can work in industry. I think most industry doesn't need it. It's just like a solution to problems that do exist, yes, but in most cases where this can be used, or where people want to use it, it is creating more costs than anything else. It is good. It has like virtual commissioning is cool, and it definitely is good, but most places I wouldn't recommend it. If you have millions to spare, go for it. Perfect for virtual commissioning and stuff. But that only is if you really want to optimize, like on a very, very deep level. Yeah. There are advantages, but it's very, very on the high level. Too expensive. Exactly what I mean. Yeah, it's nice tools. But too expensive. Siemens has invested a lot of money, billions, into those topics to make advancements there, and it's good. Like it has made a lot of advancement, and it has become cheaper, but it's still depends on. I'm not a business person, but I would say from the business side, it has huge invest and usually not too much of a return on this invest. From my perspective, but I'm not an expert. Right? I wouldn't use it. Simple as that. I wouldn't use it. I would trust my engineers that they know what they're doing. If it doesn't work in the end, yeah, we'll find a way. There you go. Perfect. Okay, now perfect. Look at how much TIA Portal we've done today. Oh god, this was really an Ask Me Anything, and it's now 2 hours already, and I like to keep those streams to 2 hours. Yeah, we haven't done much on the programming side here. Great, I love that I have set this up. I have my IOs. I have kind of started with this, but I mean we didn't finish anything. But this is good. I really enjoyed this as well, right? It was more of a like. And I'm not gonna like go much above the 2 hours. I didn't think even I would go for 2 hours today because it's so close to Christmas now. But I will now also start fading out here, right? We haven't done programming today. I'm sorry, but I think this was good. This was like solving a lot of questions, like a lot of interaction here. Thank you very much. Really enjoyed reading your questions and answering them as good as I can. You realize I'm also not an expert in everything. No one can be an expert in everything. I try to be up to date with all my stuff, but yeah. No, this was good. Also, reading your questions also always gives me new ideas of what is there. My ears are getting red. No, Are they? Not so much. It didn't feel like it. I can make them go red. You want to see my red? Wait. Now it's getting more red. Wait. Zoom. Now it's getting red. Why wasn't red before? But, yeah. No, thank you very much for joining. Sorry that we didn't do much TIA today. But I gave you a ton of links, right? I gave you a ton of links. So if you're so there is the chat. You can scroll up in the chat. A ton of very, very helpful links. I hope those. I mean, those are good links. I hope they can help. Thank you for joining today, right? And thank you for joining all the other times. But now I think it is time to almost enter Christmas time. Tomorrow is like in Germany, the biggest Christmas day I would say is Heiligabend. It's the 24th, so a lot of family time and so on. I'm looking forward to it, and yeah. So thank you all for the. Can I have like a. Kann ich die Links zusammenfassen? They are in the chat somewhere. I would have to scroll through the chat as well. I will try to make a collection, but I kind of can't. Wait, 1 second. Can I have Control H? Frohe Weihnachten. Yes, no, what I'm saying is thank you very much. Right? Thank you very much for joining. Everyone have a great Christmas time. I will most likely not be streaming next week, right? So I'll be taking the week off, which most of you hopefully can also spend some time like enjoying Christmas time, enjoying the end of the year here. And then hopefully all of you have a great start into the next year. As we say in Germany, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. That's not what we say. What we say ist Frohe Weihnachten und einen guten Rutsch. That's what we say here, right? So, frohe Weihnachten und einen guten Rutsch. Thank you very much for joining. Again, I apologize. Not much TIA today, not much programming, but a lot of TIA actually, a lot of important topics. So, thank you for joining. And hopefully I will see you in 2 weeks in the new year. So, everyone take care. Merry Christmas. And Happy New Year. Wait, that was almost singing. Oh, no, I'm not going to sing. We're sick of TIA anyway. No. We're not sick of TIA. There's so much more. There's so much more. So thanks for joining. See ya. Bye. Bye-bye.